decisions of court as a responsible political party. And then, but it hasn't substantially changed anything because there are still a number of matters subsisting, even in high courts, with respect to all of these matters, and then at the Court of Appeal and at the Supreme Court. So nobody, and there was even no declaration to a clear position by Justice Peter Lifu to the effect that those who have defected have not ceased to be members of the Universal House of Assembly. He relied on the judgments of his brother judges. But those are judgments that are even subjects that they are before the appeals. And then, like I said, if we are to consider all the judgments, including the judgment of Justice Wike, which in itself it remains a valid judgment until it is overturned, and the restraining order that is even made, then I think our position is clear. So, gentlemen of the press, it's important that we join, including the media, to direct these facts in the appropriate ways that they really are, and then dissuade the public from misconstruing and misinterpreting decisions of court, particularly in areas that suits them. So for our members, our esteemed members, we enjoin you, and even the generality of the entirety of Rivers indigenous residents here, there's nothing to worry about. I think that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at the end of the day, will become the pointer of all of this. The Constitution is supreme, and it is a ground norm, and every citizen, every authority has a responsibility to ensure that it is being protected and then it's been upheld, including judges, of course. I've made my points in several interventions that authorities will include the judiciary, will include judges, will include even the presidency, and everybody has a fundamental responsibility to protect the provisions of the Constitution. Even in interpreting provisions of the Constitution, it should be interpreted in a manner that is to protect and uphold the provisions of the Constitution. That has remained the position.
When Nigeria finally collapsed, the Nigeria judiciary, they will take their own medal as the institution that helped facilitate or accelerate the destruction of Nigeria. Just write that down, okay? A country without rule of law. A country where you know that the judgment in that place is for the highest bidder. It's just a doomed country awaiting implosion. Anyway, here is our guy. He's always there to remind Wike of his overbearing attitude and all of that. And if he continues, right, it's just pretty much like at the end is near. He keeps saying that though, right? So I am going to have you listen to him.
Today's judgment by the Federal High Court on Rivers State has not changed anything in Rivers State, but has also gone to show that Nigeria is in trouble. How can the Federal High Court say that decampment of the sacked 27 lawmakers from the pro-Wike camp is a pre-election issue? The Federal High Court have now introduced a new interpretation to the Constitution that it is now a pre-election matter that is starting bad. We should not get to this point because we try to keep the pro-Wike people whose seats have been declared vacant in office. We're not going to change our Constitution to Jumbo remains the Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly. If anybody is thinking that with all this abracadabra happening left, right, and center, that the pro-Wike group can start causing nuisance in Rivers, sorry for it, cannot happen. There is a substituting judgment of the High Court that recognizes Jumbo as the Speaker. And on that we stand. And we'll fight this matter up to Supreme Court before we come back and talk about the way out. So as it stands today, Jumbo is the Speaker of that Rivers State House of Assembly, and nothing can change about it. If you want the governorship of a state, you wait for election. You wait for election. You cannot, no matter the abracadabra, anybody concord, come through the back door in a bid to destabilize the government of Governor Fubara. It's not going to work. So pre-election matter happens before election. So how can somebody who has not even won an election as a lawmaker now be able for you to decide whether he can decamp or not, even when he has not been elected? So after election is concluded, nobody, no matter the party you decamp to, your seat cannot be declared vacant. That's what the Federal High Court is saying. Despite that, there is substituting judgment of the Supreme Court on consequences for decampment. So that judgment cannot stand. The opposition is going to appeal it. They're already appealing it. The Federal High Court have now introduced a new interpretation to the Constitution that it is now a pre-election matter that is starting bad. We should not get to this point because we try to keep the pro-Wike people whose seats have been declared vacant in office, we're not going to change our constitution to now say that once you decamp into another political party, at any time in your tenure, you can remain in office without any consequences. Your seat cannot be declared vacant. There cannot be any by-election there because it's now a pre-election matter. Pre-election matter happens. There are people who have left, people who swore to affidavit. The court is in custody of the affidavit they swore. What are we doing? Do you want to destroy? Do you want to destroy this country? Affidavit, they swore affidavit that they have left their political party. Affidavit. They also made the declaration on video, and then the Federal High Court said they didn't see it clearly, that they didn't mention anybody's name in the video. Facts that are very clear. And then you go further to now say, oh, the campaign is now a pre-election matter. So Nigerians, what they are telling you now is that anybody you elect can decamp and cannot be removed. Because if you want to remove him, you should have removed him even before he's elected. That's not what the Constitution envisaged. It's not what the Constitution envisaged. And they talk about abuse of court process. The pending cases in that Federal High Court before Justice Omotosho was on trying to stop the National Assembly from taking over the functions of the River State House of Assembly and all those other issues. No court has declared that the illegal decampment, the cross-carpeting of the sacked lawmakers is valid, that they legitimately decamp. Nobody. So they can't come through the back door. So we are saying that that is, it amounts to nothing, is being appealed, and that cannot survive any appeal court proceedings. And as long as we are concerned, going by substituting judgments of the court, okay, Jumbo remains the Speaker of River State House of Assembly, and nothing can change that unless appeal court and Supreme Court rules otherwise. And where that has not happened, nothing changes that. Everything continues to go normally in River State. The local government election, if this is why they are run up, and the local government election will hold on October 5th. And the Constitution is very clear, electoral act is very clear. No court can stop the election. No court can stop any electoral process. So conduct of election is constitutional, and the law forbids any court from stopping it. That election will hold on October 5th, and local government chairman will be elected, and nothing also can stop that from happening. Governor Fubara will complete, and we can need to get this clear, Governor Fubara will complete his 4-year tenure, and will recontest, and will still decimate you at the polls. Public institutions should be left as public institutions. It's not personal. It's not personal. You can't, the device is too big for you to pocket it. It's not personal. So as long as we are concerned, we reject the judgment, we see it as very strange, and we see it as something that will undermine constitutional governance, and it will appeal vigorously, and the right thing will be done. Meanwhile, Okejumbo still remains the Speaker of River State House of Assembly, and will continue.
The more you look, the less you see. The more you look, the less you see.
The more you look, the less you see. That is Nigeria, a lawless place. You can speak grammar for all they care. Doesn't really matter. It is judgment for the highest bidder. Remember when that Dauda Lawal, the Zamfara state governor, came out to drop the bombshell that his own predecessor, the former governor of Zamfara state, Bello Patawale, that is now the Minister of Defense, is a sponsor of terrorism, banditry. That during his tenure, the terrorists were actually sleeping inside the government house. Well, another group has come out to say, oh, he's a liar. In fact, they said, I don't know, I don't believe this one's okay, but they actually said it, okay. They said, Dauda is currently housing Bello Turuji. That Bello Turuji is living inside government house in Zamfara. I haven't seen him anywhere near there, but I've seen him many times in the forest. Bello Turuji. So this group says, the current Zamfara state governor is a bandit sponsor, terrorist sponsor, and they want the government to do something about him. ASAP. Iluoshi, man.
It is high time for Governor Lawal to step aside. He has failed the people of Zamfara. He has failed Nigerians. His continued presence in office only serves to embolden the bandits and prolong the suffering of innocent civilians. If he truly cares about the people he claims to represent, he should resign immediately and allow leaders who will prioritize the safety and security of the region to take the seat of governance. 12. The Nigerian government, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, has shown its commitment to eradicating banditry through decisive military action. The recent operations that resulted in the death of a major bandit leader and the flight of others, including Tujibelo, are evidence of the progress being made. But this progress must not be undermined by state-level actors and are more interested in protecting their political interests than safeguarding their citizens. The people of Zamfara are not powerless. They have the right to demand answers from their leaders. They have the right to hold Governor Lawal accountable for his administration's failure. And they have the right to expect their government will not be complicit in the crimes that have torn apart their communities. 13. We, the Situation Room on the war against banditry, call on the federal government, the Nigerian Armed Forces, and all relevant agencies to continue their effort to bring peace to Zamfara and the Northwest region as a whole. We call on all well-meaning Nigerians to join us in this fight against banditry and the misuse of public funds. We also call on civil societies, the media houses, and the international communities to join us in shining a light on the disturbing development in Zamfara State. Governor Dauda Lawal's action must not go unchallenged. Together, we can ensure that those in power are held accountable for their actions and that peace and security are restored in our beloved country. 14. We urge the National Assembly to initiate a thorough investigation into the alleged allegation of 1.3 billion naira to bandits and media propagandists by the Zamfara State government. Such fund should be used to provide education, healthcare, and security for the people, not to fuel the criminal enterprise that have destabilized the region. 15. In conclusion, let us remember that the fight against banditry is not just a military campaign. It is a battle for the soul of our nation. It is a fight to restore dignity, peace, and security to the people of Zamfara and entire Northwest. We cannot afford to lose this fight. And we cannot allow individuals like Dauda Lawal to continue undermining the effort of those who are genuinely committed to peace. 16. Governor Lawal, the people are watching. The nation is watching. And history will judge you not by your words, but by your actions. The time for excuses is over. The time for accountability is now. Thank you very much, members of the press, and God bless.
It is Nigeria. Nigeria has gotten to a stage whereby, you see, tribalism has now been nationalized since Tifnumbu and his gang used and pushed that in order to gain power in Nigeria. And to remain in that power, they continue to push that tribal or tribalismo, whereby people are being attacked and targeted simply because of which tribe or ethnic nationality they come from. If you criticize Tifnumbu, he is expected to be defended by the Ronukus, the Yoruba Ponus, the Ronu Nazis, the bastard, the bat idiots, the ass lickers, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, the all-risers of this world. And these are the people they call the bat idiots as such, right? So it has become that, and unfortunately, it has been entrenched, whereby a lot of people are beginning to show much concern that they've only been there for 15 months. By the time they are done, maybe 4 years or 8 years, if Nigeria doesn't fight any civil war or lead to civil war in Nigeria, then maybe there is nothing that can actually really break that contraption. Others said they should keep pushing it. But there are all, initially people thought it's all just online. But for those who have experienced it, including the Yorubas who have stood up against tribalism, against this, especially those who are pushing tribalism for a drug dealer, a certificate forger, as Yoruba Omoluabis, who are called Omoale by this Omoale bad start, by the way. So a lot of them are beginning to speak out and say, man, it is just beyond online. In fact, conversation around this bigotry has become something of everyday life in people's compounds, in in offices, and the way it is going, because that's the only way they believe they can actually keep and retain power. In one of the spaces they had on X, formerly Twitter, and then recorded, captured by this platform, one person was sharing what their experience was on this matter. So I'm going to take you through a personal shared experience of some people, starting with this, the bigotry that has been institutionalized in Nigeria for political reason, not for anything. It's, this level of a bigotry, tribalism, is not for the develop. It's not in the interest of the Yorubas. It's not in the interest of any tribe in Nigeria. It is political, and it is becoming more serious. That I have seen the Yoruba Konus, the Ronu Nazis, right? The Ronukus, who have said it publicly that they would rather watch the Fulani terrorists kill all our Yoruba Obas, kidnap us, than for them to see an Igbo man lead Nigeria. Others said, that, well, they would rather remain poor under the leadership of the Northerners, the Hausa or Fulanis, and even under Yoruba, than to watch a prosperous Nigeria under any Igbo. These are the politically sponsored narrative. You might possibly have been a participant yourself watching me, or you have been somehow pushed into this narrative yourself, in the sense of defense that some of you feels like you are defending your tribe. You are not. A politically sponsored bigotry in Nigeria would only achieve one thing, a program, killings. And some of us are saying, instead of us going on to kill ourselves because of we are being politically sponsored to hate ourselves and even attack ourselves, how about we use the same energy into breaking up of this contraption peacefully and let everybody just go their separate ways, now that we still can, before it gets out of hand? Here is the first part of the chart. Please listen.
Same outcome. Be very careful. The wickedness you plan for others, lest that wickedness backfires, making them better and making you worse. It is happening again with this bigotry war. The bigotry you planned for the Igbo ended up making the Igbo looking better and you looking worse. But we are all one Nigerians, so we will take this thing. Nigeria is a young nation. If there is nothing, I thank God for the Yoruba. I thank God that a large number of them, and I would like to say a majority of them, are against the Ronu ideology, are fighting the Ronu ideology. And I must beg them to stay strong, because this bigotry thing can only be reduced bigotry to bigotry. If I was Yoruba, I would be pained. I would feel hurt. One day I might support this bigotry war, the other day I might not. But look at it this way. If I came out in a fight and I was fighting a man on the road that I never met, and I told him, I said, "You are a killer." The man said, "Yes, so I have one brother that used to kill people, but he's in prison." But that man now points to me and said, "Your entire family are ritual killers," and showed me proof that I have 100 people in my family who are ritual killers. I would stop fighting that man immediately and go back to my house to sanitize my home. Because that means if I win the Igbo in this bigotry war in public, the Igbo, I still have to go home and face the reality of the situation. I also want to beg any Ronu or people who think maybe another civil war. I see sometimes they write these things, we'll fight the Igbos again and win them. Israel is proof that I beat them before no be property. Israel is proof that I beat them before no be property. Israel has beaten the whole Arab world together in 6 days. The same Israel that Germany murdered by the millions. So if you believe you beat somebody in 1960 something and killed him by the millions and you have pictures of them suffering kwashiorkor, I'm not too sure that if you fight that same man in 2024, he will not kill you by the tens of millions and you would have worse pictures. I don't believe a second civil war might go as easy as the first. For those of you Ronus that are here with that mad ideology, go back and tell your APC that anybody planning civil war, the Igbos are no more domiciled only in Igbo land. You will burn Nigeria to the ground. I guarantee you that. There is no state in this country where there are not at least 200,000 Igbos. That's more than enough people to overwhelm your army, your military, and your militia. Small arms when Nnamdi Kanu share for East, when they were still really fighting headsmen, we saw how it went. I repeat, Israel is proof that I beat them before, no be property. Go and watch boxing, go and watch wrestling. Nobody has beat Muhammad Ali, then beat them. Tyson, then beat them. There's no perfect warrior. Now every Yoruba, every Ronu, keep your sentiments aside. A ritual killing investigation department needs to be set up in the Nigerian army and the Nigerian police, with special emphasis on the Southwest. I have been watching these bigotry wars, and the only thing I'm following is data. There are at least 3 reports of ritual killing in the Southwest every day. There are at least 3 reports of ritual killing. These are registered police reports of ritual killing in the Southwest every day. That is a pandemic. That is enough to create. If there is so much fraud in this country, there's an anti-fraud unit. There is so much ritual killing in this country, there should be a ritual killing department in the police. I dare say ritual killing is so important. It is probably more important than EFCC right now. Because we need a department to get people educated that this is nonsense. We need a department to collect list of all fake alphas, fake mosques, fake shrines in Yoruba land and have them burnt to the ground. We need a department to trace how far this ritual killing has gone, because there is a cult in Yoruba land called Ogboni that has existed for centuries, that is full of ritual killing and is one of the oldest cults in Yoruba land, unless we don't want to accept facts in the Southwest. And the Ogboni must be investigated. I repeat, the Ogboni fraternity must be investigated. They are one of the big proponents of ritual killing popularity in the Southwest. They were known ritualists, and most of the members were wealthy. Drug peddling is in the Southwest that famous actors have been caught for drug peddling. Famous Onis caught for drug peddling. Let us not be foolish as Nigerians. If you are president of Nigeria and the Southwest was bringing out all this information, you would be forced to nip this trend in the bud. Who wants to cry? Let them cry. I will say this also to the Yoruba. Nigeria is a young nation. Don't be afraid to embrace some of these things, especially the data part of it. Throw away the emotions. The love for fraud is growing fast in the Southwest. The love for cultism is growing fast in the Southwest. The depth of education and the rise of illiteracy money-making tactics is growing fast in the Southwest. Agbero is being institutionalized in the Southwest. Rituals is being institutionalized in the Southwest. Fraudulent churches and criminal general overseers is being institutionalized in the Southwest. In the East, we have to face stupid pastors. In the Southwest, you have to face deeply wicked, intricately